In this module, we are going to learn the sums based on circumference of a circle. For that, we need to understand a very beautiful concept. Let us consider the wheel of a car. Now, let us observe the rotation, one rotation of this wheel. That means it starts from a particular point and then stops at the same point. Now students, let us observe the distance covered in one rotation. It is nothing but equal to the circumference of the wheel. So students, tell me, what will be the distance covered in two rotations? Yes, it will be 2 into the circumference. So similarly, the distance covered in 5 rotations will be equal to 5 into circumference. From here, we can generalize the formula to say the distance covered in n rotations will be equal to n into the circumference. Also, we can say the distance covered in n rotations is the total distance covered is equal to n into circumference is nothing but the distance covered in one revolution. So students, from here we can get the formula for n, which is nothing but the number of rotations. So we have number of rotations is equal to the total distance covered upon the distance covered in one revolution. Now students, let us start with the sum based on this. The question says the wheels of a car are of diameter 80 centimeters each. How many complete revolution does each wheel make in 10 minutes when the car is traveling at a speed of 66 kilometers per hour? First of all, the diameter of the wheel of the car is given, which is 80 centimeters. So we can calculate its radius. So the radius of the wheel of the car will be equal to 80 upon 2, which is equal to 40 centimeters. Further, they are asking us to find the number of revolutions. And students, we know the formula of number of revolutions is equal to total distance covered upon the distance covered in one revolution. So let us first focus on finding the denominator of this formula, which is distance covered in one revolution. And we know the distance covered in one revolution is the circumference of the wheel. So we have distance covered in one revolution is equal to circumference. Students, the formula for circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. So we have distance traveled in one revolution is equal to 2 pi r, which is equal to 2 into pi into the radius, which is 40 centimeters, which will give you the value as 80 pi centimeters. That means we have found the denominator for this formula. Now let us calculate the total distance covered, which is the numerator. For that, the speed of the car is given, which is 66 kilometers per hour. From that, we can say the distance traveled in one particular hour will be equal to 66 kilometers. So students, the distance traveled in 1 minute will be equal to 66 upon 60 kilometers. Now, the question talks about 10 minutes. So the distance traveled in 10 minutes will be equal to 66 upon 60 into 10. On simplification, we have 10 into 1 times as 10 and 10 into 6 times as 60. 6 into 1 times as 6 and 6 into 11 times as 66. So the distance traveled in 1 minute is 11 kilometers. Now we should know the conversion from kilometers to centimeters, which is 1 kilometer is equal to 1 lakh centimeters. So the distance traveled in 10 minutes will be equal to 11 into 1 lakh, that is centimeters. We have calculated the numerator as well. So now students, we can find the number of revolutions, which is equal to total distance covered upon the distance covered in one revolution. Let us substitute the values. The total distance covered was 11 into 1 lakh upon the distance covered in one revolution was 80 pi. Let us substitute the value of pi. We have 11 into 1 lakh upon 80 into 22 upon 7. Let us split the terms. We have 11 into 1000 into 100 into 7 divided by 80 into 22. We know 11 into 1 times is 11 and 11 into 2 times is 22. 2 into 1 is 2 and 2 into 50 times is 100. The term 0 in the numerator and in the denominator get cancelled. We have 8 into 1 is 8 and 8 into 125 times as 1000. So we are left with 3 terms, that is 125 into 5 into 7, which is 125 into 35. The product of the two terms gives us the value as 4375. So we can say that the wheel makes 4375 revolutions in 10 minutes.